and I'll mention it. A lot of times online you can find mini sticks for a good price. What we'll do is we'll wrap the mini stick like we do any other product, and we sell the mini stick and the wrap. It's a great, you know, $24.95. I think we bought some mini sticks for $11. You're selling the wrap and you're selling the mini stick, and it's just another product. You know, you can sell anything you want, but this is a great standalone product. You're not there to compete with the lacrosse stores who are selling sticks and gloves and all those things. Some of you own stores, and obviously you'll be selling all that merchandise. But when you're signing up for tournaments, there's nobody else out there who's doing any other product. Okay, one other thing that's really important you'll want to go out and grab are some bungee cords, a couple of bungee cords. The reason for this is when it gets windy, these are laid out and they're going to blow around and become a mess. I've had 2 holes drilled in on both sides of the display. And what those are for is just to stick the bungee cord in here and stretch it across both sides. And it's just going to hold the product down. They're pretty well positioned. Okay, so now you're ready to sell some product. Customer comes up, they tell you which one they want. I recommend that you have somebody out front taking the orders, taking the money, making change, and then you have your wrappers. At most events, even if there's only 12 or 16 teams at each event, you're probably going to keep 2 people busy. It's been our experience. But until you get up and go and get a feel for what you're going to need for people, I would warn you to have more than less. A couple of people to apply, 1 person to kind of keep things organized and keep the product coming to you. Okay, so customer comes up, they pay for their product. We take the head off with a power drill. This happens to be a girl stick that I'm doing, so it's a good example. For those of you not familiar with lacrosse equipment or girl stick versus boy sticks, most of the girl sticks have this little flange in it. It's just a plastic little piece, and it goes over the shaft and then inside the head. So just be aware of that. You'll have that piece there. And then you're going to take the butt end off. I'll show you. Here's the little jig again. Put it down on the ground and pull up. That comes off. It's just so much easier than trying to pull it off this way, which really tires you out by the end of the day. I've already got my glove on, and I'll show you why. Again, it's just the friction of putting these on all day. You'll have a hole in your thumb by the end of the day. Your paper towel, I sprayed it with Windex. Just making sure that it's dry, the most important thing. Again, the product will go over, there's a little sticky residue from a label. A lot of kids have tape on it that you're going to have to take off. It'll go over it, no problem. I like to keep the screw in the butt end, keep all the material there together, keep your work area kind of organized and clean. That's just the header card. Peel that off. Sometimes the kids like to keep the header card, they're sticky so they can put them on the wall or treat them like a sticker. That's that trash piece that you're just going to throw on the ground. Don't worry about putting it in the bag. What we do is the person who's out front, they keep the place cleaned up. They go around and grab those and throw them in the trash bag. Okay, so here's the product. You always want to lay it down on the right angle with the logo area to your left. And the reason for that is consistency, and then everybody's going to have it at the bottom of their stick. And then also, there's a coating on each of these, and where it overlaps, when you put it on, you'll see there's an overlap. If you put it on this way, there's no coating where the overlap is, so it forms a better bond. If you do it backwards, it's still going to go on fine. It's never going to come off unintentionally, but it's just for consistency's sake. You want to teach your people how to do that. I've put it on my right angle here. The product is up against this back board. And then I'm going to position it left to right. I'm just going to, again, with the screw hole at the top, because that's the head top of the stick. I'm going to guide it down this wall, positioning it, in the middle of the stick. left to right. The product itself is 30 inches long. Girls' sticks are longer than 30 inches, boys are longer than 30 inches too, but the girls' sticks are a little bit longer, so you want to position in the middle. But remember, the butt end covers about 2 inches of the bottom area, so you don't have to worry about having it there. And the head's going to come down over the top, so the whole stick is going to be covered. So we've made our initial contact, and now it's straight. So you want to just press that down. And I'm using some pressure with my thumb, but I'm not pushing so hard I'm going to break my thumb. When I'm pushing that out on the flat part that made the initial contact, I want to make sure there's no bubbles. So I have a bubble there. I'm just going to peel it back and then guide it back on. Okay, now let's do this side, pushing any air bubbles out. There's a bubble there. I'm going to peel it back. Okay. Then you have this side, this little tab is going to be hanging there. The next one I do is that. Okay. Now the trick to this, now it's on straight, we made our initial contact here. Use your thumb to crease this over the ridge, what I call the ridge, and then the flat part I call the rib. So I'm creasing it with my thumb over that ridge, and then I'm coming back and I'm pushing it on the flat rib. So creasing the ridge, putting it on the flat. Okay, and you're just, it's a real efficient movement. You know, you get some rhythm going with it, and you keep going around. There's no need to touch the lead edge or to try to straighten it out. If it's on straight initially, there's no reason that anybody needs to touch that lead edge. Okay? So you just keep going around, get that nice rhythm going, creasing and smoothing it on what I call the rib. Now, the only problem you're going to have is if a stick is bent. You know, sometimes when kids are facing off, they're leaning on their stick, and if it's an inexpensive shaft, it gets bent. You can do your best to put it on the edge of the table and kind of try to bend it back straight as you can. And you can tell if it's straight by placing it against that right angle. If it's too bowed, the product, it's not going to go on right, because by the time you get to the inside part of the bow, you're going to start to see it wrinkle. And a lot of people just say, do the best you can. If it doesn't go on perfect for a reason, like there's a big dent in the stick, just tell the people. And they really have no problem with it. Nobody ever says, no, I don't want it. If there's a dent in the stick, again, the tape is handy, because we tell the people, if you want to put some tape over that big dent, which is an area where it might fail first because there's nothing underneath it, they can wrap it around. On the dent, if there's a dent in there, just put it on over the dent. Don't try to push it down into the dent, because it's going to cause the rest of the product to go on not straight. So just, you know, put it on over without trying to push it down into the dent. Okay? So I'm usually more long-winded, but now we're going to put the butt end back on. The girls, again, just want to line that up with the proper edges. The girls has this flange again, so you pop that on first. Put the head back on. Make sure you're pushing it down so that the hole is lined up in there, so you can easily put the screw back in. Drill bit's loose. Now again, all this, what I'm doing right here, your average for the day, once you've done it a couple of times, is going to be 2 minutes to do what I just did. So if you have 2 people applying, you can do the math and get an idea of what you're going to kind of be doing an hour. And then you're done. You hand it back.